Hey guys, it's Maya, and for today's video, if you can't tell by the books and the title of this video, because that's probably the reason why you clicked on it, I'm going to be doing a book recommendation video. If you would have asked me in, let's say, September, I would have been filming this video, I would have called you a liar. I've never gotten into reading. I just want to thank my favorite YouTuber, Nicole Lano. Go check her out. She does like week vlogs. She's a dancer. She goes in her lives, like she hangs out with her friends a lot, and like summer vlogs. If you like stuff like that, go check out her channel. If you don't really watch that kind of stuff, you should still go watch it because she's a pretty nice person, and like she has her own book club and like positive energy and all that stuff. And so she never really read either. And so in about October, late October, almost like November, which November is my birthday, November 21st. She posted a video of a book recommendation video, and she was like, I literally never read, like, whatsoever, but she said the first book she read, which is actually the first book I read that made me start reading, was a book. I'm not going to say it, I'll show you it, and it got her into reading, and so she continued reading, and that was the book that made her read. So I was like, okay, so I added all these books that I have now onto my list. These are, like, the main ones that I wanted, and so I added them all to my list. And then I definitely have two more that I really want. I have a lot more than I want, but two main ones I want. So yeah, there's 7 books in all, 7 books that I'm going to be showing you here today. I'm going to give a little descriptive, not like, I don't want to ruin the book, so I'm going to say kind of a little bit of stuff. And yeah, it's just, basically that's it. But the book that got her into reading, and the book that also got me into reading, here's the first book. I put in order of what I read. So this is the very first book that I ever read. It is called One of Us is Lying by Karen and Menkes. This is also a series. I think there's 3. I'm not exactly sure. There might only just be 2, but I think there's 3 for some reason. But I have the series. If there's 3, I have to get the other one. But if there's only 2, then I have the whole series. But it's called One of Us is Lying by Karen and Menkes. It's a hard copy. I got all hard copies. It's red. I actually do have a book I'm getting for my friend that she wants me to read. I'm going to try to get it from her, let's see, today's Friday. I'm going to try to get it from her Sunday so I can start reading on Sunday. We'll see, though, if she comes over. So, basically, it's a murder mystery book. It's about, I think it's 5 kids go into detention, I think because they had their phones out, whatever, and only 4 come out alive. And basically, the whole book is, like, trying to figure out who did it, like, who killed who, how did he die, and, like, everything and how it happened, and then, like, uncovering the mystery. Also, a thing with this book that I like about, I feel like I've read, every book I've read, it goes back and forth into between people. So this book takes, like, place with, like, 4 or 5 different characters throughout the whole book. So, like, 2 people of the book, like, 2 people of the book names are Cooper and Brownview. My favorite are Nate and Brownview. Love Nate and Brownview. So they'll go, it like switches back and forth with who's natering. So 1 second, it will be a chapter of Addie, that's her name, natering, and then the next second, the next chapter will be Brownview or something like that. So like it switches off who's narrating the story, and it has like the dates and times. It's pretty cool. It really fills you in of what's going on in the book. It's so interesting. I did cry to this. I didn't cry to this because it was like a sad book. I cried to it because it was over. I've never cried to a book before this one, so it's definitely one of my favorites. I have 2 favorites out of all these, but definitely my favorite. One of them favorites. I'm going to rate it a 10 out of 10. So freaking good. And then not halfway through the book, towards the end of the book, I tried to guess like who did it and what happened. I was completely right. I know people that have read this book and they said they were completely off, but I was right. So yeah, it's a pretty good book. If you want to get into reading and you don't read, I suggest reading this. But then you got to read the second book, so that's how you get into reading. The second book wasn't actually the next book I read. I read 1 book before that, so that's going to be the 3rd book I'm showing you. But going into a second book, which this is a completely different author. My favorite author of all time. Freaking love her. This book is called It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Look how cute it is. There's like flowers in the back. So, what's a hard copy? How should I say this? Okay, it takes place of a girl named Lily, and her mom was getting really abused by her husband, so her dad. So she was getting really being abused. And her daughter can never really figure out why she never stopped it or left. She couldn't figure it out. But then she met this guy named Atlas, and he was basically homeless. Like, he did not have no money. She let him shower. He let him eat there. She let him come over, stay the night sometimes. Her parents went home, obviously, because parents couldn't know about this. And so she ended up falling in love with Atlas, and they dated for a little bit. But then, basically, they had to break up. I'm not going to tell you exactly how, because I want you to figure that out. But then, later on into her life, she met a guy named Riley. Now, they were, like, kind of standing off about getting together, but then ended up getting together. And they ended up, they ended up getting together, and he was, like, super aggressive and arrogant and sensitive and just really... But he was also, yeah, and so, but he had a soft spot for Lily. And so they just started to be together, and he started to kind of abuse her a little bit. And so it was kind of hard. And then there's plot twist in. I'm not going to tell you all the plot twists, but let's just say if you know Colleen Hoover, you know basically she makes you cry. I know so many people that cried through this book. I didn't cry. I've told someone this, and they, wanted to hit me in the face because I didn't cry. I'm sorry, I just didn't cry through it. So, yeah. I don't know why I didn't cry through it. I just didn't. And so, yeah, I know a lot of people that cry. Colleen Hoover likes to, obviously give up a good plot. A lot of her books, they're all romances. And so she likes to, give crazy plots, and you're, shook because you would have never thought that would have happened. But then at the end, she always gives you a happy ending. So that's definitely a good thing about Colleen Hoover. But yeah, I know a lot of people that cried to this. I didn't cry to it. I'm sorry if that offends you. I'm sorry, but yeah. The next book I read, let's see if this is right. Birthday. Yes, I got two books for my birthday in November. These are the two I got, and that's all the books I got for my birthday. Yeah, and then Christmas came, and I got the second book to One of Us is Lying. It's called One of Us is Next by Karen and Mika still. And this one, it also goes back and forth between chapters. It takes place in the same town. It's just a whole new mystery, though, of who did what and how it happens and what happened. They do mention some of the characters from the first book, so that's nice. You get to see what they're doing, what happened after everything, where they are now and stuff. There is a little bit of love interest in both books. I prefer the first one. Oh yeah, I didn't rate this one. I'm gonna rate this one a 9. It's very close to a 10, but it's a 9. I know people that would hate me if I told them that. But yeah, basically, I feel like I don't want to explain too much on this one because you need to read the first book first. So I'm going to give this one an 8. I'm going to give it an 8. Oh. This book, One of Us is Lying, and this is my favorite book. Are you ready? I got this for Christmas. Colleen Hoover again. It's called November 9th by Colleen Hoover. Love the month because I'm born in November. Basically, I don't even oh my god, I just want to scream about this book, but I can't spoil it for you if you haven't read it because I need you to read this book. So, it takes place where a girl named Fallen, and she got basically in a house fire, and she's burnt, and it's really bad, and then she meets up with her dad one day on November 9th, the anniversary, but he doesn't seem to remember that was their anniversary. And she meets this boy named Ben. Ben is a writer, and he just comes up to her and pretends to be her boyfriend, basically. He's a writer, and they ended up, instead of, falling in love and having, a long-term relationship, they met up one day out of every year, which was November 9th. They always met on the same day, 1 year, November 9th, because she was moving away when he met her, so they had to do it that way. And over time, he was a writer, like I said. So he wrote their love story about what was happening, going on between them. But then crazy stuff happens, and she finds out the truth about some stuff. Some crazy plot twist. Like, my mind while reading this book, I swear I wanted to throw this book 20 times. I was like, so many times. I cried to this book. Like, I cried so much. You should have seen me. I have pictures of me just going, and I would go downstairs to my brother, and he'd be like, are you reading November 9th? Because I'd be crying. I'd be like, yeah. And so this book, so good. So freaking good. I honestly, am I thinking about rereading it already when it hasn't even been that long? But yeah, there's crazy plot twists, but then there's a happy ending at the end because it's Colleen Hoover. If I had to suggest a book to you out of all of them, it would be this one. So freaking good. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Okay, then the next book I read, this was also for Christmas. This was the only book that I actually bought myself, which kind of sucks because it's my least favorite one out of all of them. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. I still liked it. Don't get me wrong, I liked it, but it's just my least out of all of them. So, this one I bought myself. I got it at Target. This is also the only book that is written by a boy that I have. Sorry. It is called They Both Die at the End. By Adam Saver. I'm sorry if that's not the name. Basically, there's this thing in their life called Deathcast. And on September 15th, a little after midnight, Deathcast called Mateo and Rufus to deliver some bad news that they were going to be dying in less than 24 hours. They're totally strangers, but for different reasons. They both looking to make a new friend on their end day. So they had to spend the same time and enjoy their last day on Earth. So, good news is there's an app for that. It's called Last Friend, and through it, Rufus and Mateo meet up for one final epic adventure to live a lifetime in a single day. That's basically the whole book. It literally takes place in one day. They're both gonna die. They both got the same call on the same day. They met on this app, and they met up and did all these things that they wanted to on an adventure. And there's romance in this book. So if it takes place with two guys, you obviously know that they're like not. I think Rufus is bisexual, but Mateo really never said his sexuality, but he is. And so yeah, basically like that. I would give it an 8 out of 10. I don't want to say 7.5 and make it seem like I didn't like It Ends With Us. I just liked Ends With Us way more than this book. It was still a good book, don't get me wrong. It's my baby. All these books are my baby, but out of everything, this might be my favorite. Sorry. Next book I read is called, this book is like probably the longest. This book took me the longest to read. Not because it's not really long in my opinion. I think it took me so long to read because the chapters itself were so long, so I was struggling to read all the chapters. It is called 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. I hope I'm saying her name right. Okay, I'm just gonna read what's on the back with the description. One boy, one girl, a bond that is forced in an instant, cherished for a decade. Bond that neither time or nor distance can break. A bond that will forever last, or so they believe. By the way, the 1,000 kisses, she didn't get 1,000 kisses from 1,000 different boys. It was from one boy. Her mom basically gave her this jar while her mom was dying and was like, here, collect 1,000 kisses. But she fell in love with this boy, so she only got kisses for him, but it was all, again, 1,000. When 17-year-old Rune returns from his native Norwood sleep town of Blossom Grove, Georgia, where he befriended Poppy as a child, he just has one thing in his mind. Why did the girl who was half of his soul, who promised to wait faithfully for his return, cut him off without a word of explanation? Basically, they met when they were a kid. He had to leave, and he was really upset because he fell in love with her. But then they talked for the beginning, but she completely cut off communication with him. He had no idea why. Rune's heart was broken 2 years ago when Poppy fell silent. When he discovers the truth, he finds that the greatest heartache is yet to come. Not going to tell you what happens, obviously. What happens, the heartache and everything. Such a good book. I cried a little bit to this book. Not a lot, but I did cry. So I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. This book, another fan favorite, Colleen Hoover, once again. I like to switch back and forth between books. This is the last book I read. Matter of fact, I finished this book today. I only had 2 or 3 left, so I finished it when I woke up. This is the book that, I think I read this book the fastest. I read this book in like 3 days and a couple hours. 3 days, and not even like full 3 days. I read it during 4th period in school, 6th period in school. The next day, 4th period in school, 6th period in school, and then one and like 2 or 3 chapters in the morning. So that was it. It's called Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. Such a good book. You could finish this so fast because it's so entertaining. Basically, I'm going to read what it says on the back end. It's not exactly love at first sight for Date Collins when she meets the tormented and secretive Miles Archer. They wouldn't even go so far as considering themselves friends. The only thing Tate and Miles had in common is mutual physical attraction that can't be denied. Once the desires are out in the open, they realize they might have someone in the perfect no-strings apartment. He isn't looking for love, and she doesn't have time for it, so that leaves to just the sex. What they've got going could be surprisingly satisfying as long as Tate can stick to the 2 rules Miles has for her. Never ask about the past, and don't expect the future. They think they can handle it, but everything is different when real emotions start to change the equation. Hearts get flattered, promises get broken, rules get shattered, love gets ugly. Such a good book. Such a good book. 10 out of 10. Favorite 3 books. Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. This is my baby right here. November 9th by Colleen Hoover. And then One of Us is Lying by Karen and Mankis. These are my 3 favorite books. I cherish them for the rest of my life. And then I would say my next favorite is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. 1,000 Boy Kisses by Taylor Cole. And then One of Us is next. And then I'm sorry, but they both die at the end. I heard, someone at school the other day was because I was talking about how I like books to make me cry because it's an impact. And they were like, you should read this. And I was like, I already read it. I didn't really cry. But she was like, oh, okay. Well, there goes that. Because she heard it was sad. And I was like, it wasn't really that sad. But yeah, these are my babies. I love them all. And I'm going to organize them where I keep them. I keep them right here in this little area in the living room because I don't have a bookshelf in my room. Oh, my God. So I'm going to organize them in the order I read them. So let's do that real quick. Of course that happened. All right, let's organize this. So the first book I read was One of Us is Lying by Karen and Mankis. So I keep them in this little area. So we're going to put one here. And then Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I know most people order it by author, but I'm not going to. Okay, let's see if this one can fit right here. Might have to move it over somewhere else. Come on. Oh yeah, it's a tight squeeze like this. Oh, here's my sour record. What's the next one? This one. Love you. That's the wrong order. What to say? I feel like I just read this one because I did. Freaking finished this literally the other day and then read this one so quick. Come on. Fit Ugly Love in there. I don't want to just stack them on top. I've been doing that and it looks so weird and I don't like it. Oh yeah, baby. Tight squeeze, but we got them. Oh my God. We got them all in there. And then my sour record, I literally just put it right there. So that is it. I will definitely be filming another book recommendation video when I get more. I have a feeling I'm not going to get more until my birthday. That sucks. So I'm probably going to read some of these just so that I could I'll probably read One of Us is Next, One of Us is Lying, It Ends With Us, and November 9th over the time. And I want to do that just so I don't get out of the habit. So by the time I get more books for my birthday, that way I can still read them. Because I have a feeling if I don't read anything, by the time my birthday comes, I'm scared I'm not going to. So that's what I do. I mean, I might read in school after summer, but I'm not going to be able to read every day. I usually read every day. So yeah, if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you go cop some of those books, or all of them. Give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, turn it red to gray. Turn the bell notification to get notified every time I post a new video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace. Love you.